Hello and welcome back to Redirected. My name is Andrew East, and this is a show where we sit down with celebrities, athletes, entrepreneurs, really anybody who has experienced a pivot or change in life. I call these changes redirections, and at some point or another, we all go through them. I certainly have, transitioning from the NFL to now digital media, and we're continuing our series that's sitting down with Forbes 30 under 30, people who have passion and vision and want to change the future. And it's been fun so far. I hope you've enjoyed it. Today we are joined by Adam Oxner, who is the co-founder of MySwimPro, which was one of Apple Watch's top apps of the year. And he talks about how he ultimately co-founded MySwimPro, which is a platform that takes people of all different talent levels and backgrounds to help them achieve their goal in swimming, whatever that might be. Adam has some really interesting things to share as far as the systems that he uses to build the company, whether it's technical or non-technical. He talks about the importance of having a solid group of people around you and how big a difference that can make. And he really has a lot of wonderful things to say. I hope you think so as well. If you want to find out more about MySwimPro or what Adam is up to, you can find that information in the show notes down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the show or given it a rating, please do so on whatever platform you're listening to. I hope you enjoy this interview with Adam Oxner. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Adam,
hey,
nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Nice to meet you too.
So I know you went to Michigan. I went to a school that's even better at football than Michigan, Vanderbilt. I'm not sure if you're familiar with our accolades. Yeah. Man. But you're still in Ann Arbor, huh?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I went to University of Michigan and fell in love with Ann Arbor and never left. So I live about a half mile from the stadium.
Oh my gosh. Yep. Wow. Big weekend coming up.
Yes.
I know. So listen, I always love to hear if you could give us kind of the potted version of your upbringing, the foundation of how you got to where you are, maybe what your parents were like and how you got passionate about this specific subject.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in Southeast Michigan, so not far from Ann Arbor, but I grew up in a water-loving family, I guess you could say. So both my parents swam in college, and my grandpa also swam at the University of Michigan. So I have a little bit of history with collegiate swimming, although I wasn't really pressured into swimming. It was something my parents actively tried not to pressure me into because they didn't want me to feel like I had to swim. But I ended up swimming because my best friend was swimming, and I love it. So so I swam through college at the University of Michigan, got my degree in computer science engineering because I love technology. And I guess that's kind of the two pieces that brought me to MySwimPro.
That's great, man. A couple things that we could go on tangents here, but this is a conversation my wife, Sean, and I have had. She was a pretty good gymnast. I was a half decent football player. Mm-hmm. And it's like, get asked all the time, oh, is your kid going to do what you did? And it's like, on the one hand, you want them to, kind of. I guess there's another part of you that doesn't want them to at all, because swimming especially, and you can attest to this, I remember we would go to football practice in high school for 2 hours after school, and the swimmers are already on their third workout of the day.
Yeah.
They've done one at 5 a.m., one at lunchtime, and then they're doing their third after school. Mm-hmm. It's a different world. How many hours did you put? When did things start getting serious for you swimming?
So I was just doing it for fun until high school, when I realized that I had a little bit of speed in me. So I guess probably my freshman year of high school is when I started swimming outside of the high school swim team, and then I started swimming year round. And that was, so we probably practiced, I don't know, six days a week, most weeks. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So your passion for swimming has its foundation maybe in your parents, probably a lot, of other factors too, like you said, your friend. What about your interest in computer science? Sorry, I don't even.
Yeah, no.
Engineer. I did civil engineering, so I'm a couple steps down the ladder.
No. That's cool.
Yeah.
No. So I got my degree in computer science engineering. I really didn't know. I knew I loved building things. So I knew I wanted to get into engineering, but I wasn't sure exactly what. So your freshman year at the University of Michigan, you don't really pick your concentration yet. So I took some general engineering classes, so like a little bit of electrical engineering and mechanical and all that. But I really fell in love with the coding aspect. I loved being able to write something and then instantly know if it was working or not. So there wasn't any waiting for review from a professor or something. It's just like either you built it and it worked or it didn't. So I like that instant gratification. But beyond that, I grew up like my grandpa was an engineer, and the ideas of building something that can help people has always stuck with me. And I think growing up like around when I graduated high school in 2010. So the first iPhone came out in 2007. So it was like my freshman year of high school. So I kind of saw the smartphone blossom into more of a cultural thing than a piece of technology. And I really loved being able the idea of building something that could just be in your pocket at all times. So I could build something and then anyone could use it anywhere in the world. And that's what drew me into mobile development specifically.
Wow. So you said, computer science engineering was instant gratification for you. I took one class and like, it was instant awareness of, hey, this is not for you, bro. Like if it works or doesn't. I don't even know what it feels like to have something that works, but I'm curious. So you're swimming at Michigan.
Yep.
And if your experience as a student athlete in college was anything like mine, not a lot of free time really to pursue other hobbies or build other things besides your athletic acumen.
Yep.
How did you do that?
So I really didn't. It was mostly focused around, I had my friends were the team, and luckily I was around a lot of other swimmers in my class who were engineers. So we all had that kind of heavy engineering workload along with 20 hours a week of swimming. So it was nice to have. We kind of had a core group of guys who would just go into the library all day on the weekend, so we could have some time to have fun on Saturday nights. But it was a lot of time. I didn't really have a lot of time for learning stuff outside of class, but luckily we had some good opportunities in classes at the university to I actually got to build like a mobile app to help some girl with disabilities to be able to use the keyboard and stuff, which was really cool.
Wow.
And that was kind of a pivotal moment for me in my love of mobile development. So,
man, it is amazing. And this is not a novel thought at all, but you talking about how there's other engineers on your team. Like, it is so true that the people you spend time around can make or break you. Like,
yep.
In athletics, when I showed up and I'm surrounded by, in college, way different athletes, better athletes than I was in high school, it was like, okay, that now raised my work threshold or expectation. Same thing with academics, with you and engineering. It's like, just having somebody there to bounce ideas off, ask questions, like you just begin this vague brainstorming process, even if it's accidental. But this app you built for the disabled friend, was that your first app build?
I think it was, yeah. So I was on a project team with some other engineers who weren't swimmers, but it was a class that was the idea was there's a girl named Grace who the professor was family friends with, and at the beginning of the class, everyone pitched an idea of something that we could build. It was a computer science class, so it was all software engineers, but something that we could build that could help her in one way or another. It might be entertainment or it might be communication, things like that. So my group centered around the idea of a keyboard that was much larger than the normal keyboard to help with the typing. So.
Wow. Were there any other apps that you built between that one and MySwimPro? What was the trajectory to get to where you are now?
Yeah. So, like I said, I didn't have a lot of time to do any extra extra work outside of swimming and like that during undergrad. So I had a hard time finding a full-time. I thought I had a hard time finding a full-time job in software engineering after school.
Mm.
Although I did get a job, so I worked um, I made accounting software basically. So that does your taxes, and then I found that not fulfilling to me at all. So it wasn't in your pocket, and I didn't feel like I was really helping anyone achieve their goals or anything. So
Mm.
I immediately started. Because I loved building that app, the keyboard app. I started with just 1 hour a day. My goal was to learn enough about mobile development to get a new concept. So one of the big apps was probably my goal. But so I took about 1 hour a day, no matter what was happening in my day. I would code and learn or watch a video about learning mobile development, because even though in school you learn about software engineering in general, you don't really the classes I took that app that I built, they didn't teach you how to build an app. They kind of just taught you software development lifecycle, like how do you form the team, how do you form the timeline of what you should build first and when. But it wasn't like this is how you build an Android app. It was so that was more self-taught. So I took the time outside of work to develop those skills, and then I got a job at Expedia using those skills, which was my first. I had a list of companies that I wanted to work at, and Expedia was kind of like the biggest one in my local area. So it was the top of my short list before I kind of thought I would expand my search. And I thought, I'll never get this job because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I ended up getting it, and that was my first introduction to formal mobile app development. But if you rewind that hour a day that I was doing actually ended up being MySwimPro. So I was just working on side projects, and then my co-founder Ferris approached me and asked me if I wanted to work on a swimming app. And I was like, sure, whatever, to help me learn mobile development. It wasn't like, you want to start a company? It wasn't like, I mean, it was a company, but it wasn't like, this is going to be my job. It was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn some stuff, and then I'm going to get another job. But so that is kind of my entrance into formal building apps for money.
There's a couple things that stick out to me. First and foremost, you mentioned at the very beginning, you didn't think that you could get a certain type of job. It didn't sound like, and I do see that with athletes. I think athletics is unique in the sense that, like, the more you do it, the scarier it is to transition out of it. So the more advanced you get in your career, it's like there's no like technical skills that carry over really from swimming or football into a job, right? Like, other people are doing internships, and you can, like, whatever. It's not that bad of a problem, except me personally, and maybe you too, like, the confidence of transitioning was pretty low. I didn't know if I could do anything else. But then the other thing is, you making a list of companies is a pretty powerful concept in and of itself. I don't know if that was like something that a mentor coached you to do, or did you just come up with that?
I think, like you said, something about like being an athlete for so long, and at the collegiate level, there's something in me that always pushes me to go try that thing that I don't think I can do, and then see where I land. So, like, even if I try something and it's not going to work out, like, I'm going to end up further ahead than where I am now. So that I kind of took that concept and made a list. And instead of going up the list from like lowest to highest, I wanted to go at the highest and go down and see where I landed. I don't think anybody really told me to do that. I just wanted to push myself.
Yeah. And that's the other cool thing, is just your ability to engage enough to like want to self-teach something. Like, I feel like that it's a rare quality. It's not like a hard quality to attain. Like, anybody could do it, but it's like it's the difference between watching someone else do it and thinking, oh man, that's cool, I wish I could do that, to realizing you can do that. You just got to practice and get to that point. So that was a tangent, but hats off to you. It's a pretty cool story.
Thank you.
So MySwimPro in 2016 became the Apple Watch app of the year. Is that right? Yep. Did I say that right? You mentioned founding, when you first started, it wasn't really your main focus.
Right.
Walk me through that point to 2016.
Yeah. So we were working nights and weekends. Actually, we were working kind of mornings and weekends because I'm an early riser. But so I like to get up early, and I would code for a couple hours before I went into my 9 to 5 job instead of stay up late because I'd like to hang out with friends. So, but it was myself and my two co-founders, Ferris and Mike. And Ferris's mother is the CEO, and then Michael is the other technical co-founder. So Mike was focused on the Android app, and I was building the iPhone app. So the original idea was just putting workouts on a phone, and then people would pay us for workouts, basically. So this is something that so Ferris, our CEO, is a coach. He still coaches swimming. So he would often hear requests like, I'm going on vacation. Can I get like a week of workouts and I'll pay you? And then he was like, oh, we can do this on like digitally. And then a lot of people can pay us. So we can distribute workouts to more people and help more people make more money. So that was the original concept, is just workouts on the phone, nothing special about it. You pay us for workouts. So, and then the original Apple Watch came out, I think, in 2015, and it wasn't waterproof or swim-proof or anything. So we had a hackathon, an internal hackathon, just 3 of us, to see just to build whatever we wanted. So I picked an Apple Watch app, and I just pretended that you could swim with it. So I figured out like how to build an Apple Watch app, what maybe the UI would look like, and then just hacked it together and presented it. And it was really cool, but we couldn't ship it because the Apple Watch wasn't waterproof without like a case or something. So so we put that in a drawer, and kept building. We ended up I was still working full time at this time at Expedia, where I was learning a lot. So it really helped being in a well-established organization building mobile apps while I was building a side mobile app, because now it frames a lot of the decisions I make now, seeing how other organizations work. But we applied for to be in the Desai Accelerator, which is in Ann Arbor. It's a University of Michigan accelerator. We got $50,000, which was enough for my two co-founders to go full time, but it wasn't enough for me to go full time because I had student loan debt. So so basically they were working all day at this accelerator, and then which was probably 4 blocks away from where I was working. So then after work I would stop working and then go over to, so I'd go to the accelerator before work and after work to see like what was going on with the MySwimPro stuff. So that gave us a leg up. And then finally, so we started seeing revenue. So at the accelerator, we built our subscription model and built out more features. So we started seeing, basically we saw our first dollar. But in 2016, the Apple Watch Series 2 was announced, which is waterproof and it has swim tracking abilities. So we hacked together the Apple Watch app again. I just rebuilt it basically for the Series 2. And then luckily, not only was it swim-proof, but Apple had added swim tracking to it. So we could say how fast you're swimming, what your heart rate is. So we didn't have to build any of that stuff, which really helped. And I think because it was probably a big selling point of the new Apple Watch, Apple highlighted us a lot. We got a lot of traction. And things took off pretty quickly from there. So.
Wow. So what year would you say that the app building industry became oversaturated? I do feel like it was like super hot there for a minute, and then it was like, oh wait, there's too many apps. Like I feel like it was around 2016, 17.
Yeah,
Do you have an?
yeah, I would say it was probably around then as well. It was probably around 2017. So like all of the big fitness apps are being bought up by like Under Armour and Adidas
Yeah.
and stuff. So basically, all of the biggest fitness apps got snatched up, and so we were a little late to that party, you could say. But but
Yeah.
it's working out fine. So I'm not complaining. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of when things started to peak because these companies that were selling basically apparel and they're selling material goods were they wanted the apps to have like another source of eyeballs. So they wanted you could track your run and you could buy your Adidas running shoes on the app or something.
Right.
And I think what they learned, and this is kind of an assumption, but I think what they learned is it didn't work out as well as they were hoping, because otherwise you would see more of those apps being bought up now, because there's plenty of apps in different categories that I think are doing outstanding work that would be an asset to a lot of different companies. But I think focusing on the subscription services and like the actual app offering is probably the one that's winning out right now.
All right, Adam, question for you. What, if you're going to put a percentage number to what you can attribute your success to, how much of that would you say is luck? I'm just curious because it is, let me phrase this the only way I can, I guess, is you built an app in 2015 for Apple Watch because you just wanted to. And then in 2016, you're ahead of the game because you already built it out of fun, right? And then that Apple Watch in 2016 tracks swimming, etc. I mean that in all, like, props to you for, I guess, working to have the luck, but I'll let you answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I attribute a lot of it to like I would say probably half luck.
Okay. Okay.
So
fair.
Because we worked really hard to not only try to guess what was coming in the future. So a lot of, I think, what people see as pure luck is kind of position yourself to be able to take advantage of opportunities when they arise like that. So you kind of say like, what if Apple built an Apple Watch that was waterproof or something, or like that? We weren't planning for that at all, but that was kind of the seed of the idea to do the hackathon. So and also putting in the work to build something that could take advantage of an opportunity that comes along in the future. But I would definitely say so. Like luck of my co-founder finding me to do to work on this. Luck of Apple building a waterproof Apple Watch and all that stuff.
So I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Andrew.
Yes, I am.
The swimmer. He was actually, oddly enough, the first guest on this show.
Oh, sweet.
2.5 years ago.
Very
but
cool.
I've been fortunate enough to, like, whenever I don't seek out swimming necessarily, like, for my own enjoyment, but recently I was able to swim with like this elite group of CrossFitters, and just swimming will humble you quickly if you don't practice it. But one big thing that you've mentioned several times, Adam, is you wanted to find something that probably first was fulfilling to you, but it seemed like helping people was the best route to get there. Like your work had to help people in some way. So let's use that as a transition to tell us about MySwimPro, the app, and how you've been able to help millions of swimmers at all different levels. Yeah.
So MySwimPro is a swimming app that delivers custom swimming workouts, training plans. There's fresh workout every day. There's videos to help your technique, because there's a lot of technique in swimming. So MySwimPro is the #1 swimming app out there. You can load workouts onto your Apple Watch or your Garmin device, and it will walk you through the workouts, tell you how fast you're going, what you need to do to improve. And on top of that, we have an amazing online presence with our YouTube channels, our YouTube channels have great swimming content, from interviews of top swimmers to technique videos and favorite drills, or maybe like why Caleb Dressel is so fast. So it's really more from just an app into a whole swimming community of people online, and being able to help. We've had over 1 million downloads this year, which is an amazing milestone. And we're always looking to be able to help more people in more ways. So we were first focused on just people who already know how to swim, how to read a swimming workout. Because if you look at a swimming workout and you're not a swimmer, it kind of looks like gibberish. So and now we're expanding the scope slowly, so we can help people who, they already know how to swim, but they want to swim for exercise, or like hop in a pool and do laps. So the mission has expanded as we've been able to help more and more people, and it is really fulfilling, like you say. And I feel really lucky to be able to work on something that I love doing. So my job is sometimes to go to the pool and swim laps and practice, which is something. And I don't have to go fast. That's another thing. So, but I feel really lucky to have an overlap of a sport that I love, that I was just able to hop in the pool yesterday for the first time in months, and it was amazing. But the overlap of the sport I love with intersection with technology, and being able to distribute and help more people get enjoyment out of the sport than would have been possible otherwise. So
one thing that I think is very unique, you guys have executed well, is the workout being tangibly on your watch. Like you don't have to have your phone. With a lot of apps, I'll just track my movement with my watch and then have to have my phone there to actually do the workout, right? But you guys figured that out.
Yeah, it's
very, very well. So props.
Thanks. Yeah, it's swimming is kind of one of the last frontiers of the fitness technology spectrum, because it's wet. You're like in a pool. You can't just you can't. Nobody feels comfortable bringing their pool or their phone next to them on the pool. So luckily we have waterproof wearables these days, and that's really key to. I use every time I go to the pool. I write myself a workout, and it keeps me honest, and I can see how fast I went afterwards. But I think it's like a new era in technology where they're waterproofing things to help swimmers. So.
Hey, so tell me, over the past 5-6 years, how has your role evolved? Is it something that you've enjoyed? At the very beginning, you're probably doing a different thing than you are now, certainly. Have you enjoyed that growth?
Yeah, definitely. So I love learning how to do new things, whether it's building something, or now I'm managing our engineering team. And but I still get to build things. So when we started off, it was really just hacking anything together. And I think the rule of thumb when you're just starting off something is launch it before you're ready. And it was way before it was ready. So like when I look at what the app looked like in 2015 and 2016, it's pretty iffy. But so we hacked it together. We made it work. And I think we found the combination of things that swimmers love. And as we grew, we started adding more engineers on the team, and so now I probably about half my time is managing the engineering team and the product roadmap, and interacting, like when the marketing team needs something like that, or an external stakeholder. But the other half, I still get to hack things, which is what I love to do. So I get to hack, like maybe if there's a new technology that Apple or Google is launching, I can experiment with it and maybe see like, oh, we could build this in a few months and it could help us in XYZ. But hacking new stuff together is one of my passions. That will never not be a part of my job, I think. But I also get a lot of fulfillment from managing the engineering team, being there to help my coworkers grow as professionals and as individuals, and it's really fulfilling in a different way. So,
listen, when you think back over how you've gotten to where you are now, what are 3 lessons that you've learned? Maybe someone's told it to you, maybe you've experienced it, that you could share with the listeners.
3 lessons. Okay, so I think the first one is if you think that somebody's already thought of you, you think of an idea that you want to build. I get pitches for apps all the time, and my go-to response is, "Why don't you build it?" Like there are so many resources to learn everything you need to know about app development online, and even just the process of starting to do it can bring more people. Like you can find other people who have the same idea and you can work on it together. So I would say if you have an idea and you think that somebody else has already started it or you could be able to execute it better than you, you're probably wrong. If you are really passionate about an idea, just do it yourself. Like I think people underestimate their ability to do it themselves.
Wow.
Another one, I didn't come prepared with a list of these, but I think another one is shipping before you're ready. So like I said, it's when you're building something new, it's a part of you, and it's like it feels like it's a part of you, but it's not. It's something you built, and if you're afraid to get criticism of it or something, but it's all for the better if you release it before you feel it's ready, because you're never going to feel like it's ready. If you have something that you really care about, you never think it's going to be, it's never going to be to the level that you want. So if you ship before it's ready, you're going to learn so much more than if you just focus on those little details, because whatever you're building, people are going to want to see it and want to use it.
Preach, bro.
And my third one is probably, don't forget the people that you, I don't know how to word this. The people that you're helping are not, we don't like to view them as our customers, but more of our community members. So I think that position has really, because we use the product ourselves, we interact with, we go to swim meets and we swim, and I think feeling like we're building something for ourselves and for our community has really helped us build a better product and be more emotionally invested in making sure we're building the right thing. So if you build it for yourself first, then you know that you're going to build something that's going to help other people. So.
Wow, Adam. People have a lot to learn. I learned a lot. I thank you for giving us the time and the wisdom. Big fan of what you've done. I'm a big fan of even more why you've done it. And I'm excited for what's next. So let us know if we can ever help you in any way, but it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks, Andrew. It was really nice being on with you.